Advanced Residential Applications and Case Studies. Chapter 3, the Valuation Process, page 23, case study number 9, question 1, solutions. Alternatives 1 and 2 clearly make no sense to raise the improvements since conversion is possible. Even continued use as a single-family residence on an interim basis could make sense. Based purely on economic analysis, though doing the renovation work results in a negative return, key issues to discuss with this option are the changing nature of the neighborhood and the trend to convert these larger homes to another use. Due to the small number of potential buyers, an extended marketing time is likely. Alternative number 3. On the surface, this alternative appears promising. Based on the numbers, it produces the best return on investment. Part of the analysis should focus on the market for rental units and if other similar conversions have been successfully done. Also, the value is based on a gross rent multiplier. Is this realistic? Are there any sales of converted homes that support the value estimate? Alternative number 4. This option produces the highest value, but the cost of conversion is much higher and results in a lower return on investment. There is also a time factor to consider. The estimated time to reach stabilized occupancy is 12 months after construction is complete, which was also estimated at 12 months. Similar to alternative 3, it would be important to analyze the demand for office space in the area and the impact, if any, on market rents when the units are in mixed-use building. End of page. Page 24, case study number 9, question number 2. Which alternative has the largest financial incentive, highest potential return? I'm going to go number 4. I'm going to guess on that. Answer. Alternative number 3. Use as a multifamily dwelling has a rate of return of 15.6. This is based on the bank's foreclosure cost, not on current market value. Case study number 9, page 25, question 3. Which alternative would you recommend and why? I'd recommend number 3. Because you get your best return. Question 3, solution. Alternative 4 produces the highest value. However, the cost of conversion is much higher. This results in a lower return on investment. There is also a time factor to consider. The estimated time to reach stabilized occupancy is 12 months after construction is complete, which was also estimated at 12 months. Alternative 3 produces the highest return on investment and is likely to be the recommended alternative. To view the solution to this case study, click here. End of page. Page 26, Standards Rule 1-4. Okay, we are done for now with highest and best use. Let's continue with the appraisal development process that is outlined in standard number 1. In developing a real property appraisal, an appraiser must collect, verify, and analyze all information necessary for credible assignment results. A. When a sales comparison approach is necessary for credible assignment results, an appraiser must analyze such comparable sales data as are available to indicate a value conclusion. B. When a cost approach is necessary for credible assignment results, an appraiser must, number 1, develop an opinion of site value by an appropriate appraisal method or technique. Number 2, analyze such comparable cost data as are available to estimate the cost new of the improvements, if any. And number 3, analyze such comparable data as are available to estimate the difference between the cost new and the present worth of the improvements. Accrued depreciation. C. When an income approach is necessary for credible assignment results, an appraiser must, number 1, analyze such comparable rental data as are available or the potential earnings capacity of the property to estimate the gross income potential of the property. Number 2, analyze such comparable operating expense data as are available to estimate the operating expenses of the property. Number 3, analyze such comparable data as are available to estimate rates of capitalization or rates of discount. And number 4, number 4. Base projections of future rent or income potential and expenses on reasonably clear and appropriate evidence. Number 5, weigh historical information and trends, current supply and demand factors affecting such trends, and anticipating events such as competition from developments under construction while developing income and expense statements and cash flow projections. End of page. Page 27. Standards Rule 1-4 ABC. Standards Rule 1-4 A, B, and C address the 3 approaches to value. Any or all of these approaches to value might be required in the appraisal of a complex property. You must determine which approaches are necessary for credible assignment results for any appraisal assignment, complex or not. When it comes to completing the approaches to value for the complex property, you must, as was stated earlier, be prepared to move beyond the normal practices and parameters that might typically apply. Get out of the appraisal rut and, as needed, think creatively when you face obstacles that make completion of the appraisal seem impossible. For instance, appraising a property with a unique design or type of construction for your market area might necessitate that you consider sales of similar design / construction for your market area might necessitate that you consider sales of similar design / construction properties in neighborhoods or communities located quite some distance from your market area. This may not seem like the ideal way to complete a sales comparison approach. But for your particular situation, it may be the best method available. Of course, the challenge will be determining how to analyze and reflect the differences between the subject market and the markets in which you have found similar design/construction properties. We will consider how to accomplish this later in the course as we address specific examples and case studies. Residential real estate appraisers rarely omit the sales comparison approach when completing a market value appraisal on a typical property. Therefore, the thought of performing an appraisal without the use of the sales comparison approach seems very unusual to the residential real estate appraiser. However, there are times when the sales comparison approach may not be necessary or relevant. For example, you are asked to appraise special use property as a chemical plant. Let's pretend you are a certified general appraisal for a minute. Since you are not likely to take on such an assignment as a residential appraiser, in this case, you very well may determine that the sales comparison approach is not necessary for credible assignment results. Such an assignment may require that only the cost approach to value be completed. Such an appraisal may not even be a market value appraisal, but may be value in use, which does not require a highest and best use analysis, since the property is valued in the context of its current use. Even if you may believe there may be a better use for the property. However, since this course is about advanced residential applications, let's bring the example back on point. A unique residential property may be so different from all other residential properties that you determine the sales comparison approach is not possible, as opposed to our earlier example where we discussed going some distance away to find comparable sales. The home has 12,000 square feet with an indoor bowling alley, indoor basketball court, indoor tennis court, indoor swimming pool. You get the picture. Where on earth would you find a comparable 10 miles away, 100 miles away, across the country? What's that, you say? No lender in his right mind would accept an appraisal report without the sales comparison approach? Perhaps I should have mentioned the appraisal isn't for a loan. It's going to be used in divorce proceedings to help distribute the Marshall assets. Just because the sales comparison approach won't be developed does not mean the property cannot be appraised. It just means you may not be utilizing the sales comparison approach to form your value conclusion. That will seem strange to the typical residential real estate appraiser, and it is unusual, but it is not unheard of. As we said, appraising these complex properties requires that we do things differently sometimes. You will find that the cost approach may become more significant to your efforts to form value opinion for complex or unique properties. So you also must understand that the cost data sources most typically utilized by appraisers, cost data services such as Marshall and Swift, may prove to be inadequate for some unique properties. Published cost data sources are good resources for typical properties, but you might not find good cost data in these standard sources for all the strange and unusual properties that exist. In the event that you can find no adequate cost data in standard sources, the best solution may come from the actual cost data for the property you are appraising if the original cost data through the use of indexing. You may need to accurately document annual cost increases and apply those increases as a percentage to the original cost to build/develop the property. Be sure to remember to compound the annual increases. For example, an annual increase of 2.5% for 5 years is not a 12.5% increase. It is actually a 13.1% increase due to compounding. So you need to learn how to utilize your financial calculator to correctly calculate such problems. We will discuss the applications of the 3 approaches to complex properties in later chapters. End of page.